Hello, fellow Middle-earthlings. Today we have a very exciting video for you guys. If you, like me, have watched Rings of Power and were low-key disappointed by it, especially considering the brilliance of the original trilogy, we have some good news for you. The Lord of the Rings is back with a prequel, and this one is all about the one and only Gollum. Titled Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum, get ready to see some of your favorite characters back on screen. And we're about to give you all the updates, from the storyline to deets about production. We hear someone's going to New Zealand, and which familiar faces will reappear. We've got you covered, so sharpen your swords and get ready for the adventure. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. The story. What is The Hunt for Gollum about? Now, it's pretty clear from the title that the story of this film will revolve around the hunt for Gollum, based on the appendices of Tolkien's novel. Basically, the story unfolds 17 years after Bilbo's birthday, when he handed the One Ring to Frodo. Cause if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it, I guess. Now, our favorite hobbits haven't even left the Shire yet, but the genius that is Gandalf was already worrying over the ring. Specifically, Gandalf worries that Gollum might spill the beans about the ring to Sauron's minions if captured. So he gives none other than Aragorn the task of hunting down Gollum before the villains get to him. These two, Aragorn and Gandalf, often team up to find the mischievous creature, but to no avail. Now, if you have watched the film, you already know what happens. Gollum did indeed get captured when he set foot in Mordor, and was subsequently tortured by Sauron and his dark forces. Eventually, Sauron releases Gollum after milking him for all the info possible, but this is where the hunt for Gollum truly picked up. We're talking a literal chase. Gollum slips away into Mordor. Aragorn follows his trail, and then eventually captures him on the Dead Marshes. The pair even embark on a 50-day journey, evading Sauron's forces, heading to safe ground, and finally handing Gollum over to Gandalf for interrogation. There's a whole lot of hide and seek, I must say. Now, finally, Gandalf gets the confirmation he has been looking for when Gollum tells him that Frodo's ring is indeed the One Ring, after which they incarcerate Gollum in the woodland realm. The rest is, of course, history that has been impeccably captured in the film The Fellowship of the Ring itself. You gotta check out the trilogy right now if you haven't already. But is that all? Is it really going to just be those few minutes between the 32 and 36 minute mark, stretched into a whole film? Maybe, maybe not. Technically, the hunt for Gollum spans almost 17 years, beginning all the way back in TA 2944 after Bilbo's quest in The Hobbit. That's when Gandalf first wanted to know how Gollum got his pesky hands on the ring. The story continues through TA 3001 and reaches its climax in TA 3018 when Frodo and company begin their journey to Rivendell. Moreover, the scope might be wider than what the title suggests. The film may even go into the origins of Gollum and his first appearance from the Misty Mountains so as to track Bilbo. In fact, the hunt for Gollum was initiated sometime around then by the Wood Elves, so the film may invariably trace some of Gollum's earlier adventures, including his travels to Mirkwood, which I must say sounds like a wonderful possibility. We might also get glimpses of the downfall of Balin's colony in Moria, or subtle hints of Gondor under threat, just enough to tease without spoiling the epic trilogy. Add to that Sauron rebuilding his forces in Mordor, or even some of Aragorn's travels, and this film is going to give us much more than we anticipated. Who knows? We might even get to see Bilbo adopt Frodo. One more thing we should probably mention. There was once a fan-made Hunt for Gollum movie released in like 2009 on YouTube. Now, this film had a completely original story, simply using Tolkien as the foundation. There was actually some controversy surrounding this when the film got taken down on YouTube after this new Lord of the Rings film was announced. Naturally, fans were outraged and got the film back, but the real question is, how many creative liberties are Warner Brothers going to take with the project, and might they venture into uncharted territory and explore an original storyline? Latest production updates. Andy Serkis heads to New Zealand. Now we've got some news for you. First off, Andy Serkis isn't just acting in the film and reprising his role as Gollum, but he's also directing the whole shtick with Peter Jackson as the producer. Now, as of May 2025, the script draft has been greenlit and they're prepping for shooting. Shooting where, you ask? Wellington, New Zealand, of course. Where else? In fact, Andy Serkis confirmed that he is leaving for New Zealand on September 6th and said, "I'm very excited to go back. I leave for New Zealand on Saturday. We're going down to start prep and work on it because I'm directing. I'm thrilled to return to the family that I've loved working with for many years and a character that I cannot escape from. Now, of course, this means that things are really heating up for this film and the early groundwork is already starting. It's also clearly honoring its roots and staying true to the original trilogy by maintaining the same filming location and putting in the much needed prep to make this film another blockbuster. But let's answer the big question. When the hell is it releasing? Release date journey from 2026 to 2027. Now, as we mentioned, the script has already been greenlit and the directors are beginning to prep right away, which probably means that production is set to begin sometime during early 2026. This definitely marks a delay, considering that originally the movie eyed a December 2026 launch. Then, Warner Brothers officially announced the film for December 17, 2027 at Fan Expo Vancouver in 2025. And as of now, things seem to be pretty much on track for the late 2027 release. And hey, I think the wait will be totally worth it, considering the amount of prep, pre-production, post-production, VFX, and CGI that goes into making these films what they are and what they have been in the past. So hold your horses because something big is coming. Cast revelations. Who's returning to Middle-earth? Now this is another billion-dollar question that always has fans on their toes. I mean, we've seen some of the recast disasters in recent times, especially when they messed with a film series that fans absolutely love and adore and have been watching since they were kids. Hey, no shade here. But The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum seems to be on the right track, as of now. We already know that Andy Serkis will be returning and reprising his role as Gollum, but it gets better. And this is big news. Recently, LOTR legend Sir Ian McKellen revealed that both Gandalf and Frodo will be returning in this film. He said, "I hear there's going to be another movie based in Middle-earth, and it's going to start filming in May. It's going to be directed by Gollum, and it is all about Gollum. But I'll tell you two secrets about the casting. There's a character in the movie called Frodo, and there's a character in the movie called Gandalf. Apart from that, my lips are sealed." This means that not only are Serkis and Ian McKellen confirmed to reappear in the film, but even Elijah Wood is supposed to return as Frodo. Now you must be wondering, what about Aragorn? Unfortunately, things aren't all that clear on that front. The crew, production, and especially writers seem to be all on board with bringing back Viggo Mortensen for the role, but are also concerned about the fact that they will need some heavy makeup and special effects to de-age the actor to fit the timeline. However, they also really can't imagine anyone else playing that iconic role other than Viggo. Co-writer Philippa Boyens said, "I know Andy wants to work with him, but also, we don't see this as like using AI technology. This is about a digital makeup, and whether Viggo does it or not will entirely depend on how good the script is, and he doesn't have a script yet. So to be fair to Viggo, let's see if we write a good enough role and that he can find enough in it to see that it's a performance he wants to take on. After that, it'll be between Viggo and Andy on how that is achieved." But whoa, what about the dashing Orlando Bloom? Will he return as Legolas? Well, it's entirely possible. Bloom, in an interview, has expressed his desire to reprise the role, as he mentioned how he would hate to see anyone else play his iconic Legolas character. But nothing is as yet confirmed. To add to that, Jed Brophy is rumored for a cameo. He's been all over Lord of the Rings and Rings of Power alike. Peter Jackson himself might cameo, and Roy Tolkien too. In fact, there's also a wild hope for Evangeline Lilly's Tauriel or Lee Pace's Thranduil. Basically, you can imagine that things are up in the air, but it would be so cool to see the OG cast all back together for one last journey through Mordor, one last prequel to rule them all. Behind the camera, the creative team returns. Now, The Lord of the Rings: The Hunt for Gollum is being directed by Andy Serkis, and written by none other than Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, Phoebe Gittins, and Artie Papageorgiou. Peter Jackson will of course be returning as producer, thus maintaining the original trio with longtime collaborators Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens. Boyens has been giving us some idea about the creative work ongoing for the film. From what we hear, the film will feature new places in Middle-earth, and apparently Boyens had lunch with an elf lord while she was in London, which could be referring to Lee Pace or Martin Sokas, or even Orlando Bloom. And guys, guess what? The same Wellington-based facilities are back on board. Stone Street Studios, Wingnut Films, 6'7", Weta Workshop, Weta FX, and Park Road Post. Now for the rest of the crew. There are just speculations, but we'll still give you some insight. Concept artists John Howe and Alan Lee will probably contribute to the visual designs, accompanied by editor Jabez Olsen, or even Robert Richardson as cinematographer. Aside from that, we might hear Howard Shore dropping familiar themes, or Kiwi composers like Stephen Gallagher, or the Plan 9 crew stepping up to collaborate, but these are all yet to be confirmed, and we're waiting at the edges of our seats for more updates. Technical aspects, motion capture, and visual effects. Now, are you ready for some tech breakdown? First up, motion capture remains core to Gollum's existence. Obviously, Circus is back under the dot-covered suit, but you might also see de-aged versions of Gandalf, Frodo, Aragorn, and Legolas via AI tech. Can't wait to see Legolas's eyebrows, honestly. Then, of course, we have Weta FX, all set to deliver digital realism that will keep you guessing if Gollum is actually real. At the same time, Weta Workshop will create practical props, sets, and costumes. We're basically expecting a gritty, atmospheric tone where there will be psychological tension rather than grand battles. I mean, just imagine dark and chilling interrogation rooms all in the middle of beautiful ancient cities of Dale and Woodland Realm. There will absolutely be a lot of mixing practical sets with digital environments. I mean, it's New Zealand, so expect real mud, real rain, real sheep in the background, augmented by green screen magic. What this means for the future of Middle-earth cinema. Now this is very important. The Hunt for Gollum is not just another one-off movie. It's potentially the start of a new Middle-earth cinematic bridge that will fill up all the gaps left behind by the trilogy and all the unaddressed storylines. If this film ends up becoming a hit, then it could possibly lead to a revival of a host of new stories, War in the North, a deeper Aragorn backstory, or other untold adventures. Jackson and Boyan said they're open to more stories, plural. And with Circus directing and Jackson producing, we know this film will honor the trilogy and not just be some divergent spin-off that completely loses the plot. So, who knows? Maybe we're looking at a whole new Lord of the Rings universe. Marvelous verdict. So to wrap it up, I think The Lord of the Rings, The Hunt for Gollum is about to be a Middle-earth deep dive we didn't know we desperately needed. And with the OG crew returning, and maybe even the OG cast, with a premise this fresh, this could be the boldest Middle-earth movie yet. And 2027 can't possibly come soon enough. Until then, we'll just keep practicing our Gollum impressions in the mirror, because let's be honest, we all do it. Let us know which other upcoming film you're excited for in the comments down below. Like the video and subscribe to our channel if you like the content, and we'll see you next time.